So this was supposed to be an entirely different video, but I opened the fridge, I saw these leftovers, and I thought to myself, this is perfect for a quick chow mein. And what it is basically fried noodles with thinly sliced veggies, some sort of protein, and a starch thickened sauce. I'm gonna throw some hot water on the stove for the noodles, and then I'll show you what I've got here. So this is some thick sliced bacon I have left over from the BLT video. I got a red pepper, some spring onions, a big clove of garlic, and some dried shiitakes that I soaked into some hot water so that they can soften up. But I'm also gonna use the water from that when I'm making the sauce. The water's coming up to a boil, so I'm gonna give it a big pinch of salt. And I'm gonna throw in the noodles. I'm using egg noodles for this. Once these are cooked, I'm just gonna strain the water and I'll throw them on the sheet tray to dry out. I'll spread them out nicely so that all the steam can escape. And I'll drizzle just a little bit of neutral oil on them, just so that they don't stick together. You want to spread them out well so that all the steam can come out and then they can dry out faster for frying. Now while these are drying out, we're gonna start preparing all the other ingredients, because once we start cooking this thing, it comes together real quick and we want to have everything ready. I'm also going to put a stainless steel pan to heat up. If you have a wok, then of course use that, but for those of you who don't, I just wanted to show you that you can absolutely use a stainless steel pan and it's going to come out fine. I'm going to take the roots off of the spring onions, get rid of some of these dried leaves. I'll give the stems a chunky slice. Cut them into strips. And I'm going to save some of these tender ones for garnish later. And all the leafy bits I'm gonna leave whole. And I'll just put everything that I prep onto a tray so it's ready to go. The garlic I'm gonna crush and very thinly slice. Now, as I already mentioned, I have some leftover bacon from the BLT, but you can use any other protein for a chow mein. Chicken, beef, pork, shrimp, anything goes. What you want to do though, especially if you're cooking it from raw, is to cut it into thin strips, just so it can cook very quick. Now, next up, the shiitake mushrooms. I'll take these out, but I am going to save the liquid for the sauce. And the mushrooms themselves, I'm going to slice into thin strips like everything else. And for the pepper, you know what? I'm not even going to use the pepper, I just made a decision. The only thing left to prepare are the seasonings. I'm going to combine a tablespoon of soy sauce for the sodium and a tablespoon of oyster sauce for the mouthfeel, richness, and the overall balance. I'm also going to prep in a little bowl a pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar, and a pinch of MSG. One last thing that we have to prep is the starch slurry, which is going to help us thicken the sauce. You can use either cornstarch or potato starch, and the ratio is generally 1:1. So in this case, 1 tablespoon of potato starch to 1 tablespoon of cold water. Okay, well, we have everything ready, let's cook this thing. I'm gonna pour a little bit of neutral oil in my pan, and what you're looking for is the oil shimmering. I'm gonna take my noodles and I'm gonna put them in the oil. And then I'm just gonna try and toss them like a pancake. You get all of these nice crispy bits, but it's still gonna be nice and soft and chewy on the inside. Now I'm gonna take these off the heat and I'm gonna put them on a wire rack to cool. Now let's cook the rest. I've got a little bit of residual oil left here in the pan, so I'm just gonna start with the bacon and the mushrooms. I'm gonna give them a little toss, and as soon as they're back to life, I'm gonna throw in the spring onions. Time to throw in the garlic. Now I'm gonna start building the sauce. In goes the mushroom water, along with our salt, sugar, and MSG. Some chicken stock. Maybe a cup or so, and you can absolutely use water. Now at this point, I'm gonna go in with our soy sauce and oyster sauce. But I'm only gonna start with a couple of teaspoons. I'll mix that in and I'll see where that gets us. I'm gonna do the same with the slurry. I'm not gonna use it all at once. I'm gonna start with adding a little bit. And it's important to let it come up to a full boil so that the thickening properties can activate and you can decide if you want to use more or not. This looks perfect. At the end, I'm only going to add a little bit of sesame oil. I like to add this in the end because 1, it gives the sauce a nice gloss, and 2, I don't cook out the sesame flavor. I'm going to transfer my noodles into a bowl. At this point, you could of course toss the noodles back inside, but I like to do it this way. I think it preserves the crispiness of the noodle, and once you mix everything in, it all still comes together nice and saucy. I'm just gonna finish it with a nice hit of the chili crisp and some of that tender spring onion that we saved earlier. Let's dig in. I'm just gonna mix everything together. Oh man, the noodles are crispy, they're still chewy and toothsome. It's a little spicy, it's a little sweet, it's a lot of savory, but more importantly, we cleaned out the fridge. So if you have a bunch of leftovers, give this one a try. Roll out!